Let's look at how to write an iterative approach to factorial using functions. So I'm going to write a factorial program, and in it I need to have a text section with a global start so that I can actually get into it, and then I create my start right here. All right, in this I also want to create a factorial function. So what does the factorial function do? Well, it receives an input. So arg1 is going to come into RDI. So RDI is the designated register for the first argument. And then the return value is going to be going into RAX. So all you need to do is figure out how to get the input, figure out the return value, and put it in RAX, and then return. All right, that sounds easy enough. So how do we do it? Well, our input's coming into the first argument, RDI. And I want to start by initializing my end result. So I'll move into RAX the value 1. Let's assume that 1 is the return value. Default return value. All right, now I have a loop. So I create a loop, and inside of my loop, I want to compare RDI, my input, to 1. Well, if I am at 1, that means I'm basically done. So I can jump less than or equal to done. So I'll create a done section right here. Before I'm done, I need to figure out what do I do next. Well, let's go ahead and mark what these things are. So I'm doing an if my arg1 is less than or equal to 1, then go to done. There we go. That's what that's doing. Okay. So next I need to figure out, well, okay, I still have a number greater than it, and so I'm going to multiply RAX. So I mul RAX by RDI. And then I want to decrement RDI. So this thing right here is, so it's my return value times equals my arg1. And then I'm doing this arg1 minus minus, or minus equals 1. So this is to decrement it, and then I just jump back up and do this over again. Then I need to compare again and figure out what I need to do. All right, so this will loop it until it has the correct answer, at which point it'll go down to done, and then I just need to return. So we need to set return value, which is already in RAX, and just return. So we can do ret return. All right, I can now go down here and I can do an exit if I want a separate section for exit. And in my exit, I want to move into RAX the value 60 for a sys exit. And then RDI is going to be, RDI is the return value for the return code. So like exit 0 or exit whatever. And I'm going to leave it alone because I'm going to pass it out that way. So this will get me out. So if I just set RDI up here, then I can see it as the exit code value for the program. So I want to now call factorial and pass in a number. So let's get 5 factorial, which is equal to 5 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which I believe is 120. And the way I do that is I move into the first argument, RDI, the value 5. Then I call Factorial, and then I want to move into this return RDI, the return value right here, RDI, our return value, which is in RAX. Then I want to just jump into exit. That way it will have our return value. So this is set return value or answer maybe. Answer to exit code. This is a call the function. And this is set arg1 equals 5. All right. So there is my iterative factorial. Let's go ahead and assemble this. So NASM, and this is an x86-64 factorial, and it's going to create a .o object, and then I will link that factorial minus o factorial. And then I'm going to run it, and then it set an exit code somewhere, and I can see that by typing echo $? And see, oh, the exit code was 120, which is exactly what we expected. If I wanted to change it to something different, like get 4 factorial, we just set this number to 4 and see what it goes through. I assemble that, I link it, I run it, and I display the value, and I see, oh, it's 24. So that's how you write a function with both an input and an output.